All right guys, what's going on? I'm gonna be doing my 300-hour service on my DF150 Suzuki Outboard today. It's been a good one. Love this motor, man. It's my first 4-stroke motor, and they are so much quieter. Pretty easy to work on. The first thing I did before I got started at all is I got this motor warmed up. I put a pair of earmuffs on the bottom down here. Super easy stuff right here. Just cheap pair of earmuffs, run your water hose, get your motor nice and warm before you get started. So I will put the parts list in the description. I'll also put them here. So you can look through there, but basically what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be dropping this lower end off. I'm draining the oil, I'm draining the foot oil, so we'll do all that. I don't really know what order I'm supposed to do it in, but I'm just going to get into it. So here we go. First thing you can do, take this prop off. I'm going to try to do some better up close video today. Background noise here, forgive me, but you know, I live out in the country, people shoot guns. So on your prop, super simple, just you got a cotter pin right here that you got to straighten out. Pull it out, then you can get that nut there off. So this will drop down in there. Not a huge deal, but if you're not careful, it will definitely happen. So just be aware. There we go. That comes off of there. Don't lose it. It probably could have been a little bit tighter. Definitely need some grease whenever I get ready to put this guy back on. All right. And as expected, fishing line. Tons and tons of fishing line. It's not too bad, but always gonna have stinking fishing line, man. If you're in the water, don't throw your fishing line out, guys. God. So as I understand it, you take this off, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts. That'll drop down. You've got your speedometer tube there. That's what measures the pressure from that little spot right there, a little bitty tiny hole. That's what'll give you your miles per hour. It's a approximate. I very seldom use that thing. Some of the times there's gunk in that little hole right there, and it doesn't even read. But 6 bolts here, 1 bolt here. Loosen that and you'll be able to drop your lower end right down. This little tab here, your trim tab, is going to be a 12 millimeter. So yeah, underneath your trim tab, there's a bolt. For whatever reason, it's a 17 millimeter. Don't know why they decided to make that a different size, but they did, so whatever. Man, that sucker was on there, y'all. Don't loosen up all of these bolts until you're ready. You can get at least 5 of them loosened up, and your 6th bolt be ready to support your lower end before you just dump it out. The bolt from underneath here, and I've got the 3 bolts on the other side, and the 2 bolts on this side. Well, 3 bolts. I got to get this one. I'm about to pull out the last bolt, and this might be a part where you might want to get some help. I don't know. My wife's about to walk out, and I'm gonna try to take it out, but we'll see. May need her help. We'll see. So this right here is about to drop down. This right here, I may need to detach that. This is screwed on, but I don't know where it's screwed. I think we're good on that. This might need to detach down here somewhere. I don't know yet. I don't know.
Are you gonna lower it down?
I don't know exactly what's fixing to happen. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Yeah, that's heavy. All right, so.
Light
Oh yeah. So that
unscrewed.
Crap.
It's like on there.
Okay, so other way, lefty loosey. All right, so that, I think we just need to clip this little zip tie off. Yeah, grab it. Nope. Grab it right, yep, on that, and just break it. Right now, oh geez, that is not coming off.
It's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming.
All right. So there's your speedometer tube. And this right here should just slide out. I hope it's long enough. Yeah. There we go. So that's your lower end. It is kind of dirty. Got a little bit of cleaning up to do. Your water pump. Water pump is under this guy here, and that just comes right off like that. So we'll put that back in. I guess that's got, yeah, it goes on there a certain way. Horrible video here, I know. Super sorry about that. Best I can do. But you need to grease. You need to grease that, grease that, grease that. You gotta grease everything. So get you some good marine grease. Be right back. Y'all, I got a bunch of parts in here, and I don't particularly know what all is needed and what all is not. Oh, that's your little lock key for your impeller. We'll get to that in a minute. This impeller has a slot in it that lock key I just had goes. This looks funky. No idea what that is yet. That's gonna be my gasket where my something slides down on this guy. We'll get to it in a second. I'm just sort of going through my maintenance kit that was delivered, and I don't know what's what. No idea. That looks important. Nope. So we'll get into this and see what it looks like. Not real sure. Just a quick note here. I slid the prop back onto the splines to help hold this lower unit up. Braced it so I could work on it like I got it sitting here. 12 maybe. Yep. 12 millimeter bolt here. All right, so that looks like that piece right there. I don't know exactly how that comes out. It looks like there's a gasket inside there too. That looks like that gasket. So maybe this is, oh, I bet this gasket fits in there like that. Upside down once I get this piece out. I bet that fits in there just like that. All right, now we're cooking with gas. Don't get your new parts and your old parts mixed up. So there's my impeller. As you can tell, it is pretty bent, but that's what it's supposed to look like. It comes off of here somehow. Good. All right, so I just took a little screwdriver wedge. This plate right here is going to be replaced. It came in the maintenance kit. Definitely has a correct side up and down. There's a little pin right there. Something goes there. But I've got my key here. It comes out somehow. I have no idea how to get that thing out. Anyway, pull this guy off of here. Boy, that's tight. Man. All right. old one and new one. I'm gonna put all my old parts up here. Whew. Ain't much to it. Just slides right in there. Fits good though, don't it? All right. This piece comes off. Want to make sure that your surface here, oh, there's a gasket there. There's that gasket there. All right, so that goes on that guy. All right. I'm gonna go get some rags and really want to get this thing good and cleaned up and leave some grease down here for just to keep things cleaned up. So I don't think that's coming off today. I don't know. That's probably something to do with your shifter, or I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go get some grease and some rags. I'll be right back. Anti-seize on these guys. Probably marine grease would do the same thing. I've got plenty of that I'm about to be using on some of the splines on some of these things, but I do want this anti-seize, and I'll put it on each one of these bolts, but just cleaning it up. You got those pins right there that let you know which way it needs to be. This right here is gonna, you want to make sure that's good and clean. That's going to be what seals this down to this, to keep, I guess, to keep your water where it's supposed to be. All right. I should have a key inside one of these packages. That's my old key right there. New key. This literally slides in place right there. Now I don't know, this thing seems to be awful tight. I don't know if you need to tap that in or why that's so, that feels very, it's almost like it's too big. Thinking I need to put this piece in the freezer and put some heat on this guy right here just to expand it, and this thing should then at that point slide in. So I think we're gonna do that and see if that works. Not sure why it's so tight. I know it's supposed to be snug, but it feels very tight. All right, so I put my key in the freezer, and now I'm about to start working on this guy. I guess this just comes out. Well, that feels like it's made in there. So going inside here and pressing down, there's a little lip right inside of there, and as I'm pressing that down, it's causing this thing to slide out. So that's what we'll do. Yep, that seems to be working. You see it kind of coming out right here, and there's that gasket piece I was talking about. There's a weird looking gasket. I've not seen one like that before. Pushing down from this tube is looking like it's much better, and it popped right out, and there's my gasket right there. Looks like it got either sealed in there really good, or it got pretty darn warm in there, because that's melted to it. All right, good to know. So now I'll take my grease and clean this up real good, and I'll seat this gasket in here, and I'll seat this new piece in here. All right, let's do that. Now when you go to slide this thing down, you've got a place for where that key goes on here. When you slide it down, and you get ready to put this housing on top of it, you got to spin this thing a particular way so that it gets these fins going the right way. Otherwise, they're not gonna, they won't go in there straight. They're gonna be one way or the other. And I think you're supposed to spin this thing clockwise in order to get this casing on top of this. I'll show you that in a minute. Maybe it'll make more sense in a second. We'll see. All right, guys, that worked like a charm. That little key right there. Took it in, put it in the freezer for a few minutes, started working on something else, came back out, and it's pushed right in. It's super tight. So now we just gotta put our impeller over this and we'll go from there. Spot lines up right there. Dang. Okay. This. Spin your shaft clockwise. Lord, I hope that's got it. We're gonna find out, I suppose. Should be all there is to the impeller. We'll see. I don't know what the official torque is supposed to be, but give it about a ooga-dooga. All right, got me a little zip tie. Gonna go ahead and get it started. And that way, whenever I do get ready to put this thing on there, I'll be good to go. All right, not done this before, so I hope this goes smoothly. Your shift shaft goes there, your main shaft goes there. Everything looks free and clear. Pro tip, take the shift shaft off and slide it up there first and get it engaged before easily. Yeah, put the shift shaft in there before you put the whole thing on. Works a lot better. I need help.
Okay.
Okay, that was a mother. So, your shift shaft, go ahead and get it in place first. Slide it up in there, and then come up and press this. Have somebody handy that can throw a bolt in there whenever you do get it in place. We're in. Okay, I just got to put the bolts back in place now. We're good to go. Cool. All right, guys, last but not least is to put the trim tab back up here. And I had mine, right around there, I think. Yep, looks like it. I don't know that I've ever even adjusted this thing. I'm sure it has a major purpose. I'm sure it does something very important. What that is, I don't know. Probably has something to do with the way the boat tracks, and I probably should play around with it just to see what gives, but I ain't worried about it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? come to the other side. You got a flathead screw here, a flathead screw here, and a flathead screw there. I don't reckon it really matters which one you take off first, but you've got to take off this one to drain this guy, and you got to take that one off to relieve the pressure so that it comes out. So first things first, they make a little bit that you can press up here and hit it, and as you hit it, it actually rotates it out. I don't know where I've got this. I've had it forever and ever and ever, but it seems to work to get it loose. And after you get it loose, you can spin this thing out. And I have definitely hit a stump or two. There's wood on that guy. Don't lose that thing. So you see it's barely coming out right now. Come up here to this top one, and when you loosen it up, it's going to start coming on out. Now this oil here, there we go, when you get the pressure off of the airlock off of it, it comes out. This one here has got a little magnet on it. You want to check that for any metal shavings. I do have one little 180 bitty tiny, well, I don't even think it's metal. I don't think it's metal. Shoo. Yeah, no metal. No metal. That's good news. Check it for metal. I've got to get this other screw off eventually, so I'm going to go ahead and take it off as well. Oh, this is the perfect little tool. I don't know where I got it, but I really like it. But you want to do this, and after you get this thing started, then you can go do something else for a little while. This is kind of warm. It really needs to be hot, but it ain't hot. We're gonna let it drain. No water in it. Doesn't look bad at all. I'm gonna tilt this guy up. About like that. And it is going to drain for a while. So go find something else to do for a little while. It looks really good too. It's not even dark, man. I replace this every 100 hours. That, I don't know what's going on there. There's a zoot, I don't know what you call it, it's a grease fitting up here. And I fill this thing up every now and again, and this grease comes out down here. So I feel like something might be busted right there. I don't know. Took it by the dealership. They didn't seem to be super concerned about it. So if they're not overly concerned about it, I'm not overly concerned about it. But I'm about to let this drain. I'm gonna get up top and start working on the engine oil now too. All right. Pull that out. Pull that out. It's easier to take this side piece off here so that you can get down to your oil filter, and plug is there. That's where your oil will come out, fill up there. Got a fuel filter on here somewhere. I guess that's it there. All right. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. All right, so to take this side cowling off, it's an 8mm socket. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, 6 screws to take off. And if you get it loosened up with that 8mm, you can come back behind with your screw gun and pull these the rest of the way off. There it goes. What I was doing. All right, set this over here. Now, I'm you can access your oil filter very easily. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this oil going. My lower unit oil is still draining. It'll drain forever, and then it'll get a surge and drain some more. Definitely not gonna put any pressure on that, but you probably could get some air and blow in there and it maybe flush that out a little easier. But this right here is your port to get your oil. If you take a business card or a postcard or something and put up underneath here, it will allow this oil to spill out. They actually make, Suzuki doesn't, but some after parts make a piece that kind of cups out and it catches this oil and it drains it down into your pan instead of just draining all over your motor. So I'm gonna give that a shot, see how we do. All right, y'all, there's probably a much better way of doing this, but sheesh, dang, y'all, that was tight. The idea here, try to catch this in this pan. It's gonna come shooting out. Might go get a bucket. All right. I hope this works, because the last time I did this, I had oil on my engine for months. Ah! But my little card's working. No oil's dripping on my motor anyway. Look at that. Otherwise, all that mess right there be running all down the side of the motor. Card's working well. That engine oil is going to come out from underneath that filter, and it's going to drop right flipping there, and there ain't a dang thing you can do about it that I know of. Maybe there's an apparatus you can put that will route this oil out. I don't know. What do you do? What do you do? Got 4 spark plugs behind. There's one here, one here, one here, and one here. I believe that my sacrificial anodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 somewhere, I believe. Maybe there's only 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. Let's see if I can find that one. All right, guys. Anodes. There's one here, one here, one here, one there, and I took this one out. Okay, these things are only supposed to be replaced when they are about 2/3 of the way used up. This one looks perfectly fine. Let me show you what one looks like when it's brand new. This is what it looks like brand new. Okay, I'm going to keep these and I'm going to just leave them be. I will check the other 4. There may be a 5th one down in the bottom of this foot. I'm gonna look for it here in a minute. But this right here, it looked fine to me. So I will show you real quick the way this thing is designed. Let me see if I can clip you in real quick. Yeah. So this bolt here is what goes through here and bolts in to that. What you do when you get this bolt out, take another bolt and this threads in. So with this guy stuck in there like that, you can't just grab it and pull it off, but you can take a bigger bolt. I don't know what size this is, but it threads in a little bit, and then take it and rock it back, and then it pops right out like that. So that's how that works. But yeah, these anodes right here look good to me. I'm gonna put this one back and check the one on the bottom to see if it looks good. If it looks good, I'm gonna skip the anode replacement. And yeah, It looks perfectly good. These things are supposed to corrode whenever they need to. I don't see any problem with that. I'm putting it back, and we're gonna rock on to the spark plugs now. All right, this is where I need one of those little hat clips where I can put my camera on there so you can see what I'm seeing. But these plugs clip on, you gotta press that down. It slides off. Once you get that clip off, then you can take that coil off, and it's gonna be a 12 millimeter. I'm gonna go ahead and take off all four so I can get these guys off. It's gonna be the old 10. If it's a metric, chances are it's going to be a 10 millimeter. All right, this guy here pops off. That's your coil. Spark plugs down in there. Spark plug wrench. I suppose it's the same size. Yeah, feels like it. These things are not super tight. I replaced these at 200 hours, so they probably don't need to be replaced, to be honest with you. But spark plugs are cheap, and it only takes another minute or so to get it done. Ooh. Yeah, that kind of dirty. So yeah, glad I'm doing it now. All right, got 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get after it. Be right back. Pound torque on these plugs. I don't know what it is. I need a torque wrench. Don't have one, but I get them to where they kind of, you feel it bottom out, and then just push it a little bit harder than that. It's not much. They ain't got to be super tight. So about along through there, and if somebody thinks that I need to be doing it exactly to specs or whatever, let me know. Not about yay much. Don't know that I've ever had any misfires, so we'll see. I usually put these back in the same order I got them back off of, so 1, 2, 3, 4 goes back to 1, 2, 3, 4. You had to pull this fuel line off right here to get this one back on. Just slightly goes right around it, and don't forget to slide that fuel line back up on that guy. Because if he comes off, you will have a hard time getting your boat to stay running, if you get it started at all. All right. Only 10 or 15 bucks. And again, these here, they don't have to be tight. I mean, you don't want it coming back off from the motor's vibration or anything, but that's that. 4 plugs. We're back running again. All right, guys, so got an official Suzuki oil filter. Got this guy cleaned up as best I can from all the spillage earlier. It wasn't too bad, but you don't want to leave a lot of oil residue down here. Number one, it will pick up all the dirt. Number two is if you ever have an oil leak, you want to know, like if you see oil in your engine compartment, you need to think, oh gosh, there must be an oil leak. I need to check that out. And if you're leaking oil all over the place, and you won't know that. So anyway, these guys come with a little cellophane wrapper. Take some oil. Hey, I'm looking for oil now. And coat that gasket real good. A lot of times, if you can, you want to fill this thing up with oil before you stick it on. I don't have that ability with the way this motor is sitting unless I turn my boat on its back, and that's just not feasible. Let's get that guy, he spins on there nice and smooth as soon as he hits. I have no grip in my hand, so I will take this guy, and I'm not going to go very tight. You don't want to over tighten these at all, but I will want to make sure it's on there and it's not leaking oil. I'll check this after I get this boat out on the water. I'll run it for, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, if that, and I'll come in here and make sure that there's no oil down here. That's another reason you want to keep this thing good and clean. So a nice clean rag I had earlier is now all kind of dirty. That's all right, I make more of them. All right, get to there's a crusher ring here on this guy. This is your oil plug. That should have come in your kit, so go find your crusher ring and replace that. All right, got my new crusher ring. We're going to, probably before I put that guy on there, clean off some of this oil residue here. There's just no way, no possible way to keep this thing from having oil everywhere. There's some fine threaded screws here. They typically start pretty easily, but the last thing you want to do is cross thread that. Get it on there good, and just give it a good. I felt that ring kind of crush when I did that. That's what you want to feel. Thing was pretty hard getting off, so I guess I crunk it down the first time I did it. But we're good there. We've got our filter in place. We've got our plug in place. Now we can come up here, and it's going to require 8 quarts of oil. All right, guys, this is the 10W40 ECSTAR Suzuki oil. It requires 8.5 quarts without the filter, 9 quarts with the filter. From experience, I'm gonna put in 2 gallons. 2 gallons should do me. So the last couple of times that I've done this, I feel like I put more oil in there than I needed to. So we're gonna start out with 2 gallons and go from there. Four quarts in a gallon, 2 gallons, 8 quarts in. Next. Okay guys, this is the last part. Last thing we'll do, gear oil pump. Put this thing right here on your, I think we put this, I can't remember, I think you put this piece on your motor first, and then that yellow piece we'll screw on to that. Screw that there. Get this started here. There we go. Don't let any dirt get on that guy. And if I remember right, I think this holds about 1 quart, and just a smidge of the next. I've got one here that I didn't use all of the last time. You put it on here, and then you just get to pumping. Just takes a little bit of time. Do it slow. You don't want to pump any air in there, because the more air you get in there, the longer it's going to take, because that air has to, the bubbles have to rise up through the oil and eventually. But what we're looking for is, we got both of these plugs still out. We are looking for oil to come pumping out of there. So we're going to probably pump this entire bottle in here. I'll tap into my next bottle, and then eventually we'll get a little bit of oil coming out of there. And when we get oil coming out of there, we'll cap this one, we'll cap this one, and then we'll take our special plug with the magnet on it, pull this out, and quickly as possible put the other plug in there. You'll lose a couple of drops, not much. Like I said, this stuff's thick. So this is the last thing we'll do before we get our cowling put back on and put the muffs back on this guy, make sure everything's pumping like it should be. So stay tuned. Just one more thing I wanted to mention about this. You want to make sure that your motor is level when you are doing this, because this oil level fill line is set to where when the motor needs to be level when you're doing it. So just been pumping away. I've got 1 quart in, and it's only going to take just a little bit of the next. I don't think that first quart was quite full. It was what I had left over from the time I did this at 100 hours, I guess. About to come out. I don't want to make a big old mess, so I'm going to get ready. All right, we're close. I see it coming out, or coming up. It's about to come out. There we go. So what I like to do now is just be patient. Sit here for I don't know, 30 seconds or so, and kind of let it settle down. I'll give it a couple of more pumps. But I'm going to go ahead and have my plugs ready to go in. Could probably go ahead and put my top plug in now. All right, looks like this plug and this plug have gaskets. Dadgummit, that's the worst thing you can do is drop it in the grass. Get any dirt and crap off of it. But anyway, 2 of them have gaskets and 1 of them does not. I'm assuming it's the bottom 2 that have the gaskets on here, and they are a booger to get off. They're super duper tight. They've been smashed on there for quite a while now, I guess. All right, those gaskets were a bit of a pain. They're super duper tight on those these bolts here. So get your top one in, give it a little screw. Now I'm gonna get my top one ready. I'll push some more oil in there until it comes out. All right, it's coming out. Got my top one here. I'm gonna put that guy on there. He's on there good and tight now. Let's wipe this excess off. Keep your motor as clean as possible. The first time you get out on the water, you may notice some oil stains coming to the surface. That's perfectly fine. It's just the residue coming off of here. All right, so now I'm gonna give 1 more squirt in there, and then I'm gonna pull the yellow one off. And I'm gonna pull this next one off. I'm gonna put this on there as quick as possible. And that's a messy job here. Definitely gonna want to rag, but we're in, y'all. We are done. So give that guy a good turn, good turn. Don't strip it out. Be real careful about that. Whew. All right. Yep, takes just barely. I'm gonna call it 1.25 quarts, maybe 1.5 quarts. But we're good. We're good. Don't forget to get your little adapter here. I'm gonna drop these guys back in my bag. Keep this guy on the shelf for next time. Clean it up now and find your grease fittings. Get your cowlings put back on. Find your grease fittings, pump it up with your marine grease. Cowlings put back on. We're gonna put the muffs on it. Take it down to the pump house, turn some water to it, crank it up, make sure it's running and everything looks right. So other than that, we're done. All right, guys, I'm gonna be honest. This cowling right here, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to get on. Make sure all your screws are back in the backwards position so that they don't get in the way when you're going to put this guy on. And everything has to line up just right, which I know y'all probably can't see, but there we go. I think I got it. Yep. And it's not super easy to get together, and honestly it rattles a little bit. Like it's just didn't see that was down. Jeez. Always something right when you're getting ready to put the finishing touches on it, isn't it? It's just some little something. All right, we're gonna lift this thing up, take it down to the pump house, put the ear muffs on it, water muffs on it, and see how she does. All right, so take your muffs, use your water intake right here. Not that, it's right here, this little plastic part. And you've got oil probably on the lower end of your boat, so keep that in mind when you go to put your water hose here. It don't slip off. Water impeller seems to be working just fine. Engine sounds good. Purring like a kitten. And obviously this thing's a lot quieter when that part's under the water. You don't hear that exhaust. These 4-strokes are quiet. I'm going to engage it into gear and listen, and I might trim it up so I can see if I can see that prop. Reverse. All right. done, y'all. 300-hour service complete. She's good to go for another 100 hours. I can't believe I got 300 hours on this boat already. Seems like I just got this thing.